We're starting a 2-week series simply called I Am Jonah. Maybe you're familiar with the Jonah story. A lot of people have a lot of opinions about the Jonah story, but we thought it would be cool to reflect, remember, and think about the implications of the Jonah story. I'm here at the Houston Museum of Natural Science, standing in front of Megalodon. I thought this would be a fitting backdrop for our discussion today. You know, the first 2 chapters of Jonah are so interesting, and so often we have a hard time with some of the events that happen within the life and the time of Jonah. You know, for those of you that are followers of Jesus, I always find this to be such an interesting dynamic with this story, that this seems to be a tripping point of someone being swallowed up by a fish. I just want to remind us that many of us that are watching this believe that God came from a virgin, He lived, He died, He rose again, He went up to heaven, and then He's going to come back. So I would say we should look at these stories through the lens of Jesus. All of these things are pointing to Jesus. If we have trust and faith in Him, we can have simple trust and faith in what Jesus was talking about when even He referenced the life and the example of Jonah. We see in the first 2 chapters, Jonah is not interested at all in doing God's will. In fact, he is the only prophet that we have that was making a concerted effort to go in the exact opposite direction of God wanting him to do. Go reach hundreds of thousands of people in Nineveh who did not know who God was. Jonah attempts to go in the opposite direction. He boards a boat, the waters and the waves begin to crash, the storm begins to rage, and very quickly they realize Jonah is the problem. In fact, his disobedience is the problem. Jonah, in fact, asked them to go ahead and throw him overboard. Jonah is someone who is not wanting to embrace the direction with which God is wanting him to go. Scripture says that finally he is thrown overboard, and a giant fish of some kind swallows him up. While he's in the belly of the fish, he prays out to God, willing to offer sacrifice and praise. But his prayer, as we see even in the coming chapters, is really less than heartfelt. See, this is what I hope you'll take from the first 2 chapters. It's a short read, and I encourage you to read it. Is Jonah is really interested in a transactional relationship with God. If I do this, will you do that? If I go here, will you do this for me? But that's not what God is interested in. God is interested in a transformational relationship. God wanted Jonah to have a heart for the least, the last, and the lost. God wanted Jonah to have a heart for hundreds of thousands of people who did not know who God was. So we don't know what changed the composition of Jonah in the stomach acids of a giant fish. So what we do know is that Jonah was spit up on the shore, probably exhausted, tired, broken, brought to the very end of himself, but grudgingly carrying out the mission that God had first given him. And I want you to think about that. Is your relationship with God transactional? Is it wheeling and dealing, or is it transformational? Who is your Nineveh, and who are your Ninevites? Who are the people that you would rather not deal with in your life, that if God said go, you don't want to go? Are they liberals? Are they conservatives? Are they immigrants who are here illegally? Are they folks that are in oil and gas? Are they the top 1%? Or are they some ethnic or racial group that you can't stand? Is it some bias or some thing within you, maybe of something that happened years ago in your life, that for whatever reason, this person or that person or this neighbor or this family member, they've become your Ninevites? Who is your Nineveh? Where is your Nineveh? And who are your Ninevites? Because God invites you into a transformational relationship with Him, to have a heart for those that are far, far from him.